Hunter Biden is my son. He's a good boy who deserves to be forgiven. If you disagree, it's because he's our son and you're anti-democracy. No one's above the law.
Hello?
Pardon me, Dad. I know you're giving a speech right now, but I need to be pardoned again.
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm in a high-speed chase. I just robbed a bank and did some stuff in an alley with the lady of the night. I tried to be a good boy for you, Daddy. But what am I supposed to do when my dad's the president and I can basically do whatever I want? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Anyway, I need to be pardoned again so these cops will leave me alone.
All right. I hereby grant a full presidential pardon to my son, Hunter Biden, again. No one is above the law.
Thanks, Dad. I also need you to pardon Anthony Fauci. Turns out that lady of the night was just him in a wig, and I feel pretty bad for all the stuff he did. I went pretty crazy. Hunter Biden is my...
Good morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. Yeah. So, I don't know if you guys saw the title of today's show, but it's, you get a pardon, everybody gets a pardon. Chad photoshopped Joe Biden's face over Oprah, and it's a pretty good thumbnail. It perfectly encapsulates what's going on right now in the culture, and Biden is just literally, I mean, I think what he's doubled or tripled any other presidential candidate's pardons. Like, I mean, like he owns the pie chart. So if you want to pull up that pie chart and show everybody what exactly it is we're talking about.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I got to find it first, and
Yeah.
then I'll flip over to it for you. Up there,
There
it
it
is,
is.
right there. All right, give me 1 second, and I'll transition. There we go.
Thank you. Yeah, check this out, folks. Like, this is amazing. Just kind of go through and kind of give everybody a synopsis of this
Okay,
little
it says
chart.
presidential pardons, commutations, and rescissions. And we
Change
have...
cameras real quick.
Oh, yeah, sorry. And it says here, got JFK at 575, LBJ at 1,187, Nixon at 926, Ford at 409, Carter at 566, Reagan at 406, Bush at 77,
Wow.
Clinton at 459, W. Bush at 200, Obama at 1,927,
Jeez.
Trump at 237, and then Biden at 8,062.
Ladies and gentlemen, that should raise some eyebrows. What is Biden doing? I mean, from what I remember, it was Trump that was Trump and all of his cohort that were being unjustly prosecuted by the federal government. So who the hell are these people that Joe is letting out? 8,000 people? This is how you know Joe's not actually doing anything. This is how you know Joe's not actually in charge of anything. It is the shadow. It is the deep state. It is the shadow government. It is the unelected bureaucrats behind Joe Biden going, hey, I know a guy. I know a guy too. I got to get this guy out. I'm getting paid by China. I need this guy out. I'm getting paid by the Ukrainians. I need this guy out. I'm getting paid by some other foreign state. I need these guys out. This is terrifying. Like, that is, I mean, like, Obama has the second most. At like somewhere in the ballpark of like a couple thousand, right?
Democrats, in general, seem to outnumber the Republican pardons by astronomical numbers here.
Yeah, and they're going to be throwing, like, this pie chart. Remember this pie chart when people start throwing shit fits about Trump pardoning all the J6ers. Remember this. Remember this. 8,000. 8,000 for Mr. Joe Biden.
Yeah. So let's look. Let's look here at the Democrats. JFK, Democrat, 557. LBJ, Democrat, 1,100. Nixon at 900. At least he's under 1,000. Ford was a Democrat. He's 409, so he's on one of the lower ends. Wasn't Carter a Democrat? Yeah, Carter's a Democrat. He's at 566. Reagan, as a Republican, only 406. Bush Sr., only 77. Clinton, a lot, 459. Bush only at 200. Obama just shy of 2,000. Trump is a Republican, only 200. Then Biden. I mean, so the Democrats pardon people way more often than Republicans do.
And again, who are the people that they're pardoning? That's what I want to know. We know that Joe, the one that people are freaking out about, is this Chinese national that had 47,000 downloaded images of child P word. Starts with a P and ends in ornography.
Yeah.
Again, I and that's what I'm telling you guys. Child abuse or child assault, anything with kids they should tack on a torture charge to it. Especially if, kids on kids, no, but adults to kids needs to be an additional torture charge must be added because like we have to protect children from evil, and the only way to protect children from evil is to punish evil, that kind of evil, as harshly as possible. It's like there should be no such thing as a hate crime in this country. There should only be hate crimes against children.
Yes. So, but the next one that I have pulled up here is a meme, says, and it's the FBI director Rari, whatever his name is, says, "Can I get a pardon after I resign?" And then it's Hunter Biden and all these other people like, "Get in line, dude." Hillary Clinton, and then what's this dude's name? There's Fauci. What's this guy's name? I forget this guy's name.
I have no
Kind
idea.
of a
who that
little
is.
worm. Might be Kirshner, Jared Kirshner. I don't remember.
No.
But whatever. But all these people just they're lining up and they're all getting
8,000
pardons.
folks. 8,000. All those people are safe because again, Joe Biden's not in charge of anything. It's his cabinet. It's his shadow. It's the secret. It's the puppet masters pulling the strings. They're the ones doing this. But do you think Biden knows the name? Like Biden couldn't name 8,000 people to pardon. You know what I mean? He just pardoned. He just said, "Make sure Hunter's in that list of names." They're just rubber stamping everything. He's just like click, boom, click, boom. Who's this? Doesn't matter. Click, boom, click, boom. That's what's going on. It is disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. This is political corruption at its finest. But again, it's like, what are we going to do about it? What are you going to do about it?
Yep.
Criminals are going to be thrown back out in the streets. The worst of the worst. The people stealing from the taxpayers. They're stealing from the taxpayers' coffers,
Yep. The next one I have pulled up here is, speaking of like crazy stuff going on with the pardoning, there's also that massive bill that's trying to be pushed through Congress right now.
The Omnibus
The
bill.
Omnibus bill.
It's like a couple of thousand pages.
Yes. And apparently, Dan Crenshaw is one of the ones reportedly leading Congress in efforts to get a raise for all the Congress members. What a joke.
Yeah, it's like a raise of $70,000. Yeah, look at Elon Musk said about it at the bottom there.
Yeah, so Elon Musk responded to it. It says, they can have a pay raise when the budget is balanced.
Yeah, I mean, he's right. He's right. It's like, let's figure out what's going on with the $8 billion that the Pentagon can't account for. Let's figure out where all these money is going. Again, pull up that meme I sent you, the one of the Santa. Yep, there it is. Perfect. Yep. So this next meme right here, I posted to my feed the other day, but this is exactly what needs to happen. I mean, read that.
It's a little girl sitting in Santa's lap, says, "For Christmas, I want a dragon." And then Santa's like, "Be realistic." And he goes, "I want all bills to be single issue instead of omnibus bills." And Santa's like, "What color dragon do you want?"
Yeah. It's a shame that this is what it's come down to. I mean, but, you have all these liberal Democrat people who are like going, the omnibus bills are the way to go because we can get so much accomplished. It's like, no. Those people, those senators and congressmen should have their fat asses sitting in those chairs all day doing nothing but passing one page of legislation. And that's it. Hell, and we should maybe even hamstring them to only allowed to be passed one piece of legislation a day. One piece of paper, one time a day. That way we can slow down progress.
Yeah, and not forget that in this bill is a portion of it that would allow Congress to be exempt from being investigated for the January 6 issues.
Oh my God, that's right. Yeah, Liz Cheney is trying to. Yeah, she's shoving that in there because Liz Cheney was the one who kind of orchestrated it. Like she might be criminally culpable in this whole J6 thing. Like she might be the puppet master that kind of orchestrated this and allowed a lot of this stuff to happen.
And this is the other thing too, is the Democrats are defending her. Like how the Democrats have come best friends with the Cheneys is beyond me. So this is what I always tell everybody, is like either the Democratic Party changed and became like Cheney, or Dick Cheney was like the Democrats all along.
Yeah.
So that's the question you have to ask yourself. If you're one of those old blue dog Democrats that are still voting for Democrats, you need to ask yourself, why are the Democrats praising the Cheneys now?
Yeah, Dick Cheney was Bush was just the idiot. Cheney was the devil in during his tenure as Bush's VP. So just remember that, folks. And again, the Democrats have no principles. They have no moral foundation. It's just power is their moral foundation. Whatever gets them power, whatever's politically convenient and expedient for them. So this is, again, government corruption at its finest. Watching these people say, "Hey, we all," on top of the fact that we're going to shove in legislation that won't allow us to be investigated. We're also going to give ourselves a $70,000 bonus.
Yep.
I mean, we earned it. We work hard for you plebs. So it is disgusting.
Yep.
It's evil. Evil.
I mean, just going even more in depth into it like that. I mean, like, we couldn't investigate any of this stuff with that type of rhetoric. All the stuff that we keep bringing up. I mean, I know we keep bringing this up like regularly. All these hoaxes that, you know, the media pushed up against and members of Congress actively like were culpable in.
I mean, remember, we could go back as far as the AIDS epidemic for Fauci. Remember, AIDS wasn't even an epidemic. Like, Fauci was under the impression that AIDS was an airborne disease. Well, shoot, we all know that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but that was Fauci's default position. AIDS could be airborne, so everyone needs to hide. It's like, no, why? You know, it's like if it was airborne, why is it only affecting a certain group of people? And like, what do you mean a certain group of people? Well, I guess poo punchers is how you would define them, you know?
Yeah. So there was a joke that I kind of thought of on the fly. Is like, you know, like, what do a straight, you know, because back in our day, you know, like teachers, nowadays, you know, teachers are like, it was all teachers coming in and they got pregnant. Like, they'd come back and all these female teachers like, oh, I'm pregnant. I'm getting ready to have a baby. Yay. And you go, well, what do gay teachers come back and tell their students they're proud of? I have AIDS.
I have AIDS. Sure, maybe it's like California decriminalized, you know.
Telling people that you have AIDS.
You don't have to disclose. Like, I mean, in California, you do not have to disclose to any of your sexual partners any of your diseases, even if that disease is as serious as HIV or AIDS.
Yeah, life-threatening one.
They decriminalized it. So it's like if you knowingly and intentionally give someone AIDS in California, you cannot be criminally prosecuted. It's like you could have a serial gay AIDS delivering person. Like he goes, I am the AIDS delivery vessel. And I'm doing it on purpose and intentionally. It's like, well, to each their own, right? Mm-hmm. This is, like I said, this is why, you know, as nice as it is to have a liberal society, sometimes liberalism can lead to degeneracy because to each their own, do what's in your own best interest as long as you're not hurting other people. But again, he's actually intentionally hurting other people at that point. So at what point is the California like, hey, we need to stop this kind of stuff? I mean, this is Democrat logic, Democrat philosophy at played out to its end point. It just turns into degeneracy.
Yep, 100%. But I mean, like, all this stuff right here could be easily criminally investigated by what's his name, Kash Patel.
But you know, but Liz Cheney's trying to say, hey, no, you can't investigate any of this.
Yeah, the fact that we can't investigate Congress for potential crimes or, in this case, like for the January 6 people, like hiding or deliberately like keeping evidence away.
But you know who they can investigate? They can investigate those PTA meetings. They can investigate those school board meetings. Like mom and dad's going in there going, what is this stuff about a boy going into the school girls' bathroom and one of the girls getting assaulted in there? It's like, oh, you don't need to know about that. This is a school board matter. You're just parents. You don't need to know this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's what we're talking about. And those people, those parents who have issue with,
I mean, I hate
that those things happening at their school are the ones being investigated, not the school board for covering it up.
I even hate to bring this up, but I mean, it's so relevant, especially to stuff like that. It's like the hockey, not the hockey team, what's it called? Field hockey team that got accused of rape.
Duke Lacrosse.
Yeah, Duke Lacrosse team. Yeah, the Duke Lacrosse team. That girl came back and straight said, yeah, I lied.
15 years later.
Mm-hmm.
15 years too late. I remember being in college listening to all that going, yeah, the Duke Lacrosse scandal is indicative of basically all college guys, all frat guys, all sports teams. Like, it's just indicative of it. It's just how it is. That's what men do. It's like, no, it's not. I can tell you that, like, fraternities take that kind of stuff very seriously. I mean, we sat in on, like, fraternity, what do you call it, chapter meetings where the entire thing was we were talking about expelling members who we thought had
Just
inappropriate
accused,
contact
just
with
accused
girls.
of
Like, I mean,
stuff,
talking about expulsion, they have to pay the rest of their dues out for that semester, and then we kick them out of the fraternity and they go, you're never allowed to come back in this house ever again. Like, everyone thinks that it's just like this. Can it be the fun parts are the drunken parties where you're hanging out with your buddies and drinking beers and hanging out with pretty girls. Yes, that's a part of it. But if you think that conduct and good behavior is not also a part of it, like you are, and again, it's like being in the army or anything. It's like you are not only an ambassador for your school, you are an ambassador for your fraternity too. And if you are a doucher, people don't want to be associated. It's like, dude, I don't want to join that fraternity. That guy's a doucher. So, again, it's just the fact. I mean, I'm glad that girl came out and told the truth. But again, it's a shame she waited 15 years too late. But I mean, she has all kind of mental. I mean, first of all, if you're a stripper, you probably have mental issues already. But she apparently suffered from bipolar disorder and she was in tons of abusive relationships. But I mean, abusive on her end. She like stabbed a couple of her ex-boyfriends. So clearly a reputable source we were investigating.
Yeah, she was in jail. When she admitted this, she was in jail for murdering one of her boyfriends.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Like they were like, well, hashtag believe all women, even if they're in prison,
Mm-hmm. Even if they're accused of murder.
Yeah. So, again, this is logic being thrown on its face. There's no need. Just believe all women. Trust the government. Trust the omnibus bills, all that money, all your tax dollars go to fund Egyptian education for LGBTQ stuff like that. I mean, that's literally just Egypt robbing us and, them putting money in whatever the hell they want to put their money into.
Whatever organization's probably more likely terrorist or defense.
Yeah, I mean, if you're funding LGBTQ stuff in Islamic countries, you're basically just handing money to terrorists.
Yes. And not to mention, we're still funding things like this while there's people in North Carolina still recovering from the hurricane, living in tents.
Remember, they got denied their $750 because of the government budget freeze.
Yeah.
But Dan Crenshaw's talking about, hey, I already get paid a good amount of money. I have, investors who are, I know what bills we're getting ready to pass, so my investment portfolio is looking really good. But I also could use a raise as well, $70,000 additional dollars. What about the people in East Palestine, Ohio, who are still recovering from the train spill? What about the people in Florida still recovering from the hurricane? What about the people in North Carolina? What about them, Dan? I guess your $70,000 budget increase or bonus is more important than that.
We can find the funds to give Congress more money, but we can't find the funds to get money down to the people in North Carolina.
Yeah. And again, that's assuming your phone's working. I mean, thank God for Elon Musk and his Starlink. I bet you Starlink's a huge benefit to those people in that area. I'm sure it's not super fast, high-speed internet, but it's better than nothing.
But another thing that I found interesting today was this last week was speaking of Duke lacrosse being like overturned, that girl coming up and admitting. Also, the George Floyd is possibly going to get a overturn as well because they're having another look at the autopsy report. And here's a meme that just kind of reminded me of that when I saw it today. Was George Floyd's autopsy report. This is George Floyd's autopsy report. Now it's the Patrick and the what's his name, Man Ray.
Yeah.
And he's just like, this is George Floyd's autopsy report. Yep. And this says he had 11 milligrams of fentanyl. Yep. Which is 2 times the lethal dose. Yep. So arguably George Floyd overdosed. Patrick's like, there's no evidence of that.
Oh yeah, that's a good meme right there, folks. Again, it's not about the truth. It's about what will appease the mob. And this is what Democrats do. They don't care about justice. They care about appeasing the mob. When you have it's like what happened with the Daniel Penny trial. Those BLM activists outside literally tried to storm the building, but the police were out there blocking them from coming in, Thank God there weren't that many because, I mean, most people can see that the Daniel Penny trial was not racially motivated, nor was it about race. If it was about race, it was about we're doing this because Daniel Penny's white, not because Daniel Penny did it because it was a black guy. It's not like Daniel Penny was like, oh, a black guy, I've been waiting my whole life for this,
Yeah.
It's like, no, that is not what he was doing. I mean, the guy seemed like a quiet, mild-mannered, shy dude to me.
And
he did not come off as like a confident Giga Chad.
Yeah.
Despite the fact he looks like a confident Giga Chad.
Yeah. Said, but here's another thing I almost forgot about. But in that bill, they're talking about striking offender in crimes and making it justice-involved individual. That's what we're doing now. Instead of criminal or offender, we're talking about justice-involved individuals. That's in this omnibus bill.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, they are trying to destroy our language. You know, it's like, hey, what is that person over there? He's a criminal? No, he's a justice-involved person.
Yeah.
The hell does that mean? It's like, is he a police officer? Is that what you're trying to say? He's a justice-involved person? Is he a lawyer? They are trying to get rid of the words they're trying to get rid of any and all shaming words in our society. It's like, what is like OnlyFans girls? Like, I'm not a prostitute. No, I'm an OnlyFans girl. It's like, no, you're a prostitute. If you're selling images of your body, you're a prostitute. If you do things because literally, it's like what I tell everyone. It's like going, like, what's that show called? The whatever podcast? So there's like, if you want to have a conversation with one of those OnlyFans girls, all you got to do is like say, oh, you're not a prostitute? That's great. Why don't you fart in your panties and put them in your mouth? Here's $200, Like, they are not beneath that. It's like that thing. It's like whenever, you talk about you were talking about how in the Middle East or the Saudis or whatever, they're all morally bankrupt.
Yes.
And they'll invite Western OnlyFans girls and they'll be like, hey, we're going to pay you $200,000 to bang a camel. And they're like, no. And they go, and never reach out to me again. They go, okay, fine. What if we pay you $2 million? And then all of a sudden it's like, are you guys going to pay for my trip out there? Like, look, you can be bought. It's like the old adage. What was that old tale from World War II about...
Patton.
Supposedly
it was Patton that
supposedly supposedly General Patton had a friend with him who was not very good.
This is when they were young men.
Yes, they were young men, and they were and he was trying to get his buddy laid, and he just goes. He saw this random lady at a bar, and he was like, "Excuse me, ma'am, would you be willing to sleep with my friend?" And she was like, "No. What kind of woman do you take me for?" And he was like,
goes,
"Okay, what if I paid you $1,000?"
No, like $10,000.
And she goes, "What kind of woman do you take me for? I'm not a prostitute. I'm not gonna bang your friend for any amount of money." He goes, "Okay, what if I paid you $1 million?" And she just kind of looked back at him and goes, well, I mean, maybe I would do it for $1 million. He goes, okay.
How about 10,000?
How about?
She's just like, what type of woman do you take me for? And he goes,
Yeah.
well, we've already determined what type of woman you are. We're just trying to figure out your price.
We're just haggling over price now. Yeah,
exactly.
So that is, I mean, I guess everyone has a price, So it's sad, but that's just. It's just kind of the society we live in now. We've cultivated, like, we don't care about integrity or moral character. It's like, I would rather get paid $2 million to go bang a camel. And again, that's what our society's turned into, this degenerate, godless, it's like, I'll sell my soul for whatever amount.
Yeah, but speaking of that, like, soulless societies, like women, when they find out, speaking of OnlyFans and stuff like that, women, when they find out the CEO shooter was only 5'7".
Yeah, that's so true, man. I mean,
and but we were talking about this morning when we were running to the gym, and we were just like, this is how you know that a godless society is a morally bankrupt society, is because people are justifying. Said a Christian will look at the murder of that United Healthcare CEO and say, that's wrong. He may not have been a good person, but that is wrong. And these other people who are what I call the internet atheist types are like, no, this was a good thing. So you can justify evil without God.
Yeah.
This is so true.
Even Charlemagne the God, who, I call him Charlemagne the Charlatan,
Charlemagne the fraud.
Yeah, he's the Breakfast Club radio show host. He had a great take on this, which is surprising. He goes, what he literally goes, why are you celebrating? What changed? He goes, well, and all of them are going, he brought attention to a corrupt system. He goes, okay, fine. What changed? What happened? What outcome brought about change inside the healthcare industry? I don't think anything's changed yet. The wheels aren't even turning. Mm-hmm. The only thing that I said, it's what I agree with him on. I go, I think the only thing that's going to change is they're going to pay healthcare CEOs more now. Like, it's the most dangerous job in the world. You can get assassinated.
Yep. Then also I'll get back to these last two that I have here. So I just want to be as happy as the Martha Vineyards residents when they kicked the immigrants off their island.
God, that was a viral moment in history, folks. If you remember, Martha's Vineyard was one of those places that going, yeah, no, we would be a sanctuary city for illegal immigration. And then, Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, bust a bunch of them up there. And the minute they got off the bus, they were there for like less than a couple of days. And the people there go, we don't have the infrastructure to support these people.
Oh, but we do.
Oh, yeah,
we down here in the South do.
Yeah, but Texas does. So again, I mean, like that picture is so perfect. I mean, look how happy that's like. We did it. It's all about moral superiority. They felt morally superior to all the people in Texas going, we can't handle this. We don't want these people here. We want them to go back. And they go, well, we would take them. And all of a sudden, it's like whenever the crap gets put on their doorstep, they're like, maybe we can't take this. Maybe we can't handle this. And now they were all, I mean, those smiling pictures of those people is absolutely unbelievable. And it's amazing. It's like, we did it. We saved the city from illegal immigrants now.
Yeah. And this next thing that I have pulled up is from, says that this is from Swalwan Momika. I'm not sure who that is. It says a group of Muslim refugees kill a security guard in Spain for refusing entry into a nightclub. Who brought the West to this state? And as you can see, like, they're just beating the crap out of this guy right here.
Religion of peace.
Just because they didn't allow him to a nightclub or whatever. I don't know what the heck's going on.
Holy cow.
Mm-hmm. But I won't get too far in that because I know YouTube will probably get mad about that.
Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, that's pretty much like what's going on right now in the world. And people are just ignoring it like, oh, immigration's fine and stuff like this happens just because, you can't come into this club. You won't let me in this club because you think I'm a violent person from another country? I'll show you right. I'll prove you right.
I'll prove you right now. Well, I guess that was a good call, him not letting those guys in the club then.
Yeah, and then you sent me this, and I just thought this was a good one to end the show with before we get to just the play out. But yeah. I want the same rights as guns. And I see women post this stuff all the time, and they do not understand all the restrictions on guns.
Yeah, read all the restrictions on guns to this. This is so good.
All right. This is from Military Arms. Okay, if you sleep with more than one person every 5 days, you must report yourself to the government. When you travel through states like Illinois, you must be locked in the trunk. A 10% transfer tax between dates will be applied to all women funds that will be treated for STDs. All new women will be subject to 11% federal tax based on their assessed value. You can only date one person a month. Before dating, you must submit to a federal background check. You must be safely stored in the home. If not, your significant other may face charges if you go out unsupervised. If you are under 5'11", 5'5", the government will be subject you to a $200 tax each time you transfer to a new boyfriend/girlfriend. We will create a female regulatory agency that can arbitrarily place rules on you whenever they feel like it. I could go on, but I think you get the point. And that's 100% correct. If you knew, anybody who's ever bought a gun and had it shipped to their state knows how much of a pain in the butt it is. And then not to mention trying to get things like suppressors or SBRs.
Yeah, short-barreled rifles. I mean, like, I remember we were trying to explain stuff to our dad, and he was just as confused and frustrated as we were with the whole thing. But it's like, at least we had a general working knowledge. He's like, why can't you just go get it from the store now? It's like, because the tax stamp hasn't come in, and the gun, and we had to put the gun in a trust. It's like we had a million things, we had a million hoops to jump through, because if it was just in, let's say, Chad's name for this short-barreled rifle, he could not just give it to me.
Yeah. The moment that I die or that, I decided I wanted to get rid of it, I have to make sure that he gets a tax stamp for this rifle because you can't just give it to him. You can't just give somebody else an SBR or a suppressor. So we had to put it has to be attached to you by the government.
Yeah, we had to create a trust so family could get access to this gun whenever they wanted to. And anybody that we want to be able to shoot the gun or wield it to has to be put in the trust.
Yep.
So it is nuts. Like I said, so women, that is like that sign, that image, like that, you are dumb. Like, I mean, like, I think that would be hilarious if women wanted all the same rights as guns. Like, okay, you are really putting some strict laws on yourself, ladies. So, a great meme, and I love it. So, with that being said, I think that's all we've got for you today. So, with that being said, this is the Twins with the Owasso Live. This was the Morning Loop. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you too can stay in the loop. But that's all we've got for you today. God bless you, everybody.
See you later, everybody.